Hey everyone, it's Katya with Hindustan Astrology here, and in today's video, we are going to discuss the month of August 2025 Vedic sidereal astrology. All right, you guys, so we are out of the clear with a few aspects that have been troubling us. But we do have a few things this month. Well, Mercury's going to go direct. Yay. We are going to have a Saturn retrograde and Mars opposition, which will be a little trying. And then we have a Venus-Jupiter conjunction in Ardra. So I feel like, we're just kind of stepping away from that Mars K2 intensity. And now that Mars is in Virgo, we have broken the Kala Sarpa Yoga. So let's get started on this month's presentation. All right, so August 2025. We have Sun going into Leo on the 16th, and Mercury will go into Leo at the end of the month. So I thought it'd be a nice Leonine theme. All right, so right off the bat, there are not a whole lot of things going on that first week of August, so that's good. It kind of gives us a break from all of the intensity we've been feeling, right? That Neptune turning retrograde, conjunct Saturn, and Saturn aspecting, Venus and Uranus in Taurus. That was what really produced that July 4th horrible catastrophic flood in Texas. So, I think we're all still reeling from all of the disasters and just, here we have a horrible heat wave and it's just very stifling. And it just feels like very heavy on your body. So the first thing that happens is August 8th. We have Saturn retrograde and Mars opposition at 7 degrees of Pisces, Virgo, and Saturn is conjunct Neptune retrograde. So, when Mars is in Virgo, oftentimes there's a lot of health issues, um, and we are stepping into the fall. So kids are going back to school earlier and earlier these days. I feel like this could be talking about, just viruses, popping back up and making people sick. But, conjunct Neptune retrograde, this is definitely about whistleblowers, about cults. Brainwashing and mind control is associated with Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde in Pisces. So with that Mars opposition, on a personal level, it is going to feel frustrating. Saturn and Mars, it's like a push-pull kind of energy. We feel like we are in a traffic jam. But with Neptune retrograde, it's definitely going to add, things coming out of the closet that we didn't see before. And, for the United States, Mars is in the 10th house. So definitely these Epstein files are I think they're going to come out. And I think it's probably going to happen around this time. So get out your popcorn. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, on a personal level, be very careful of water. We've had so many drownings. Not just the flood, but, family accidents at their pool and things like that. So especially with Mars aspecting this, please, 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 water safety, fire safety, everything. I can't stress that enough with this kind of aspect, okay? And then the next day we have our full moon. So it's kind of like leading up to that energy. They're only, looks like 5 hours apart. So, yeah, this could be telling us that there could be some kind of shocking reveal with the government. There could be more attacks, that kind of thing. So be careful around this time. But let's talk about our full moon. It happens August 9th at 3:54 a.m. EST, 22 degrees, 46 minutes of Capricorn Shravana Nakshatra. And this puts the moon conjunct Pluto retrograde. and in opposition to Mercury retrograde. So for sure, things are going to come out. Information is going to come out about our government that is going to shock us. Pluto retrograde, Pluto in general talks about secret societies, so that is going to be interesting. And then Shravana, what is Shravana? The star of listening. And as the star of listening, it's also the star of learning. But I've always found on a practical level how this pans out is gossip. Shravana is very spiritual. A lot of people can't handle it. And so what happens is instead of listening, they do the opposite, which is talking. And gossip can be seen, vicious gossip, especially with that Pluto there around this time. So I think, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. For the United States, we have a Sagittarius ascendant. This puts it in the second house of money, speech. But we know they just made that great trade agreement with the European Union. So that could be kind of sealing the deal and showing that the economy is improving, I hope. But, I'm being hopeful. Yeah, this is a lot of heavy energy. So Mars, let's see, he is putting, Saturn's putting his seventh aspect onto Mars. Mars's eighth aspect is Aries, fourth is Sagittarius. So if you're Aries or Sag, you could be feeling the intensity as well. Saturn's putting his third aspect onto Uranus retrograde, and then his 10th aspect onto Sag. So Sag people will probably be feeling this full moon pretty intensely. But yeah, Shravana is it's, I think, the most spiritual nakshatra, because some of the most spiritual seers and visionaries, psychics, mediums of our time have had significant planets in Shravana. And so people that are like that oftentimes are different than others. They're unique. And so because of that, people like to point their finger at them and gossip about them. It's a hard energy to handle, but it is ruled by the moon. And it's ruled by Vishnu, the god of preservation. So, if you can just sink yourself into a good book, watch a good movie, kind of stay away from the drama. But it definitely will be an interesting full moon. Let's just say that. Okay, August 10th to the 20th. We have August 11th at 3:30 a.m. EST. Mercury goes direct at 10 degrees, 2 minutes of Cancer Pushya Nakshatra. So all of us Cancer people will be happy because it's really affected me and all of my devices and everything. But, things we've said from the past as Mercury goes direct and then goes back over the degrees that he was retrograde in. There could be some things coming back from the past. Any issues with food, nourishment, even food allergies, that kind of thing. Especially if you have a Cancer Lagna, this could be really affected here right now. But Mercury in Cancer, he's very intuitive here and very psychic. Although his words don't always come out the way that he wants them to. Mercury definitely taps into the subconscious in Cancer. So really pay attention to your intuition as Mercury stations direct. Then the next day on the 12th at 1:15 a.m. EST, we have the Jupiter-Venus conjunction at 19 degrees, 50 minutes of Gemini Ardra. This is technically a Graha Yuddha, which is planetary war. And it just means that two planets are fighting over the same degree. So the planet that moves away from that degree is the loser, and the planet that stays on that degree is the winner because they're fighting over it, right? So Jupiter always wins. And, Jupiter and Venus are gurus of their own planetary camps. So they're not exactly friends. And Jupiter doesn't really do so great in Gemini. I mean, yes, it's ruled by Mercury. He loves Mercury, but it's like too many ideas for Jupiter. He needs a more sattva kind of sign, not one that's so rajasic and like kind of all over the place like Gemini. But Ardra is the star of sorrow. And so, being that Venus often talks about love and relationships, and Jupiter is the indicator of the spouse for women, this could tell us about heartbreaks, especially if you have significant planets in Gemini. So, I just want to warn you about that. But, uh, it could also be, in a positive way, a great day to write, be creative, make music. Gemini is about communication, right? So, um, yeah, I think there are many positive ways to use this conjunction. So just see where it is in your chart if you have planets there, and that will tell you how it's going to pan out for you. And then on the 16th at 4:23 p.m. EST, we have the sun entering Leo. So happy birthday to all of the Leos out there. We love your sunshiny energy and your leadership abilities and your warmth as well. Um, and then August 20th at 3:20 p.m. EST, we have Venus entering Cancer. Now, Venus loves to be in Cancer because Cancer is the natural ruler of the fourth house, and that is where Venus has Digbala or directional strength. So, Venus entering Cancer is going to bring a nurturing quality to all of our relationships, love of food, love of cooking, family, all of that stuff. So, that's great. It's going to be great when Venus goes into Cancer. Layla, shut up! Okay, now August 21st to the 31st, we have August 23rd at 2:05 a.m. EST. We have our new moon at 6 degrees 9 minutes of Leo Magha Nakshatra. So Magha is about, it's the star of power. It's ruled by the pit trees or the ancestors, and the symbol is an ancestral throne. So it's ruled by Ketu. So these people that have this prominent in their chart love their ancestors. They're proud of their culture. Um, they love celebrating their family, their heritage, and they are leaders, very much so. Um, and so, having Sun and K2 all in Leo, and then of course over here we have Rahu in Aquarius, Shatabishak. Um, for the United States, this is the ninth house, and the ninth house is law. It is higher education as well. I think probably we're going to hear more about, the especially the Columbia University debacle with Trump and his wanting to change policy. That's definitely going to be coming out at this time, I feel, because school will be in full session. Yeah. And we have our ascendant for this new moon is in Gemini. So this puts the new moon in the third house, putting an emphasis upon communications, writing, that kind of thing. And of course, this is from Bloomington. And DC is about 6.5 minutes ahead. So it's still a um, Gemini ascendant. But the moon in Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun, and here the sun is in Leo. So definitely we're going to be feeling some solar flares at this time. I've noticed that when significant planets are in Leo, we oftentimes have a lot of solar flares. Um, you know, Venus is now in Cancer, as I said. Sitting with Mercury in the second house, this is a great time for music, for writing, poetry, um, you know, just expressing yourself in any kind of art form that you wish, but especially with kind words. I feel like that's a great way to use this energy. Um, Mars is still in an opposition with Saturn retrograde, Neptune retrograde until Mars goes into Libra, which will be in a couple weeks. Um, but that energy is still going to be present for this new moon. So, be careful. Make sure, you don't get over frustrated and that you know, focus your energy because Saturn wants to contract everything and he is, about slowing things down and Mars wants to speed things up. So it creates like this frustration is what it creates. So just be patient on this new moon. Don't let things bother you. Don't let other people bother you. This is the real test here. And let's see. Rahu still in Purva Bhadrapada. He will enter Shatabishak around 20 degrees. So, this is the scorching star. And there are a lot of accidents that happen when significant planets go through this nakshatra. So having that we have this tenuous opposition, be really, really careful of accidents. Okay, you guys, I can't overstate that. Um, but yeah, I feel like, we're just kind of grinding through some old territory, um, especially until Jupiter goes into Cancer in October. I'm so excited for that, you guys. But, this new moon has Jupiter on the ascendant, and that is excellent. He does best in the first house. So this is giving us some good luck and some protection. In the US chart, Jupiter is, we're having our Jupiter return, happens every 12 years or so. And, with all of our planets there, I think it's showing the positive trade agreement that we made. So that's, I think that's going to be the theme of this month is watching how things are going to start to get better with the economy. So that's what I'm feeling. Okay, you guys. So if you are in Bloomington, you can go get a reading from me in person at the Fountain Square Mall in downtown Bloomington on the square. And I also offer combination readings where we do, we start with tarot and then we go into your chart. And as I get messages, I relay them. Um, if you are not in Bloomington, you can book a reading with me with the Vedic astrology or tarot tabs. I would love to see you on Zoom sometime. And when you go to the website, don't forget to sign up for the newsletter on the home page. I put it out once a month just to let everyone know where the planets are going to be, that kind of thing. Okay? All right. So the first card I've pulled is the Eight of Wands reversed. So you can see the Eight of Wands is called swiftness. And it's reversed. So this is exactly what I was talking about with this Saturn Mars opposition is that this is the frustration card. When it's upright, things are fast, they're moving, it can be the arrows of love as well. When it's reversed, it's the arrows of hate. So really, you guys, we've got to be so careful with our tempers this month. I cannot stress it enough. Okay, so that's the first card indicating this. Then the second card we have is the Four of Wands, and they call this perfection. And so I found this comes up when we are perfectionists and we're being really hard on ourselves. So this is an indication that this month we really need to give ourselves some grace, step back from pushing so hard, especially while Mercury's still retrograde. But yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. But also finish projects. that have been on the back burner. That would be another way to use this energy. And then the last card we have is the moon, one of the major arcana cards. And so the moon card is the moon. And it always talks about our intuition, our subconscious fears, mental health, that kind of thing. So this is telling me that some of our mental health issues are because we're so hard on ourselves. Um, and so, OCD tendencies will probably flare this month just because of this opposition. So this is just saying rest, literally sleep and dream. This is everybody's, I think, not sleeping well. A lot of people are stressed out here in the United States. I'm sure it's the same other places, but we've had a lot on our plate this year here in this country, and nobody's really sleeping right. So really focus on, self-care, making sure that, you are eating correctly, taking your vitamins, that kind of thing. Okay. All right. So that's it for this month, you guys. I hope that you got something out of that. And of course, if you want to book a tarot or astrology or psychic medium reading with me, head on over to hindustanastrology.com and I would love to see you sometime. So until later, bye. Namaste.